Now, Labour politicians have reacted pretty angrily. For example, Kate Green, the Shadow Education Secretary, has said that Kate Green has said it's insulting and shocking. Our country and our children deserve better. David Lammy, the Shadow Cabinet, says on Twitter, "You must be the most ignorant, clueless and incapable Education Secretary in the UK's history." And the Lib Dem spokesman, Daisy Cooper, says it's shocking and embarrassing, and it should be the final nail in the coffin for Mr Williamson being a member of the government. Of course, this all comes with Mr Williamson top of everyone's list for demotion or the sack in a potentially imminent cabinet reshuffle. So what has happened here clearly is that Mr Williamson has blundered. He has mixed up two high-profile sportsmen who are also very successful and high-profile political campaigners. Marcus Rashford on school meals, education, and Maro Itoje, who is a top England rugby player, played with the Lions in the tour that's just finished a few weeks ago. Tipped as that's him in his Lions shirt, tipped as a future England rugby captain. Marcus Rashford, of course, plays for Manchester United and is an England international. He's currently injured. Well, the two sportsmen, whilst the politicians are getting very hot under the collar about it, the two sportsmen seem to find the whole thing slightly amusing. This was a tweet from Marcus Rashford responding to a journalist's tweet. There it is. Accent could have been a giveaway, he has tweeted, and the rugby player Maro Itoje has also tweeted in the last few minutes. He has said this: due to recent speculation, I thought it was necessary to confirm I am not Marcus Rashford. While we are here, my name is not Mario either, and a simple Maro Itoje will do. Much love, Maro. So he's obviously seen the funny side of it. Now, I can bring you a response from Gavin Williamson, because in the last few minutes he has issued a statement in which he says this: towards the end of a wide-ranging interview in which I talked about both the laptops and school meals campaigns, I conflated the issues and made a genuine mistake. We corrected this with the journalist before publication of the story. He goes on to say, I have huge respect for both Marcus Rashford and Maro Itoje, who run effective and inspiring campaigns. Well, turns out Mr Williamson did meet Maro Itoje, but not Marcus Rashford. And obviously he tried to correct the mistake, as he said in his statement. The Marcus Rashford spokesman has told Sky News that he's written two letters to Mr Williamson, received a cold response to one, a copy and paste of a Wikipedia page. He wrote another letter. Marcus is asking those in power for collaboration. More often than not, this ask is rebuffed. Maro and Marcus are two incredibly successful young black men, but there's little more they have in common. Whether it's Daniel Rashford, now that is a reference to a blunder made by Matt Hancock when he was Health Secretary, got Mr Marcus Rashford's name wrong, or a Maro Itoje reference, the message remains the same: put our children first. Well, all this in the week of talk of a reshuffle. In Prime Minister's questions, it should be said, Boris Johnson defended Gavin Williamson, asked a question by the Labour school spokesman Peter Kyle. Mr Kyle said, put hand on heart, is he the right person for the job? Is he up to the job? The PM said the Education Secretary has done a heroic job of dealing with a very difficult circumstance in which we have had to close schools during the pandemic. Note the use of has done a terrific job there. Is that a reference that perhaps Mr Williamson is for the chop in the reshuffle? Well, he's certainly on the receiving end of a bit of a defeat here. I said earlier, Sportsman won, Mr Williamson nil. I think it's 2-0 to the Sportsman now, don't you, now that Maro Itoje has also hit out, albeit in a very humorous way.